subscribe it.
All right, welcome. My name is Syra, and it's time for a July garden tour. It's the 12th today. I'm going to be showing you about half of my gardens, kind of this end here. Fruit trees, guilds, Hugelkultur, terrace, lots of perennial and annual foods. Yeah, I'm going to try to provide some tips and ideas along the way to add a little more value, as well as the usual eye candy and nice, smooth shots, hopefully. And so let's jump right in, show you what I got growing. We're at the Hugelkultur terrace area here, development. I still got a fair bit of work to do. I did have a machine here early spring, made a new terrace up there and a Hugelkultur with the machine. That was sure nice, a lot easier than doing it all by hand. So I got a couple of varieties of onions all along the front, in front of the rock wall here. They're doing really well. They're super sunny, keeping them watered because it's pretty hot. And a whole slew of things planted in this nice big hugel. Asparagus bed I decided, so I planted Millennium asparagus, all male variety here. So a nice row down the middle right there. You can see they're ferning out just now. And in the front I've got Stevia, Candy is the variety. And it's taken a while. All the rain we had earlier didn't really like that. I had to replant some of them, so it's just starting to get going. Wow, it's so amazing. So sweet, it's so sweet, it's good, maybe, yeah. A lot of things are somewhat late. Yeah, it's been a pretty weird year to be expected though. The green emirate pole beans on the trellis there, the celery behind. I've got a bunch of flowers, 3 different kinds of amaranth in here, a perennial daisy, or like a red and orange one. And in the center here, I have San Marzano from Saved Seed, some lettuce behind that, zinnias in there too, and asters. And over here, have Dolof shelling pole bean, I think it is. Bring you down that way, but at first, you see these? These are wicking barrels. This is adjustable here. There's my water level. I've got a wicking leg that's down in the middle. Got a couple videos on how I made these. Check them out. Got cukes in here. They are just starting. Had quite the deal this year with herbicide contaminated manure, and it killed off all my sensitive crops, almost all of them. Cukes, melons. I wanted it to be a big melon year. No. Anyways, I got some cukes that survived in here and they're doing pretty good. They're coming around. Got a little stevia in here, as well as a couple of chickpeas or garbanzos. I've never tried growing them before, and it looks like just a couple came up. Yeah, so that'll be a fun experiment. So I spread clover and grass seed here. This is the parking lot. I'm trying to, green it all up. See, this kale here is from last year and it's just growing. It's not going to seed. But that reminds me, I've got seed. I'm growing this kale here for seed, and I made sure there wasn't any other brassicas flowering at the time. So this should be pretty true to type. Blueberries. This variety is Brigitta. And I got these as like 12-year-olds. I got a couple of them, and it's just rocking. Rose campion is so gorgeous. Blackcurrant. So I'm working on this area here. Spirals around there. An apricot tree. Got a dwarf honeycrisp here. Standing on another big Hugelkultur here. I'm gonna level and terrace these. Got a bit of a Hugelkultur along the top there. And planted some high sop up there by that big rock so far. But I wanna do a whole live fence and lots of plantings all over here, but it's hard to find the time. Gonna plant some Gloriosa perennial daisy. Yeah, this whole area here is a buried cottonwood tree and garden cleanup kind of thing layered in here. And so I was wondering if this is going to happen here. This cottonwood tree in pieces are buried. They're a couple feet long and they all lay along like this around this crescent here. And look what we have here. These are cottonwood sprouts. So I cautioned my viewers or whatever, myself, when I was doing it, to be careful of using green cottonwood. It's best to let it die off for about a year, kind of die and dry out a bit. So hopefully this won't be a problem as long as I keep pulling these sprouts. I had a couple support species under my apricot here. They had white roots when I planted them, but they were kind of more like sticks. So I don't think they're coming back. Just pretend that didn't happen. Look, it's so nice now, okay? We plant some stuff there. Petunias, clary sage, chamomile. Hello? I'll show you my little nursery here. Casino apricot, hardy to -37, so like a zone 3, so I was pretty excited about that. And this is a zone 3 apricot there as well. And this peach here is, actually I think it's a zone 5 Haro Diamond peach. Looked pretty good. I've got 2 new grape varieties. Excited about these high bush cranberries I got. And blue hibiscus, hardy hibiscus. And a red one. Pretty excited about these. Also, I managed to find the European variety of elderberry, the one they use for, you know, making wine and whatnot. And it's good for your chickens too, I hear, to keep them nice and healthy. All right, so Sweet Million, those are coming along, but this is all kind of new soil. It's kind of mixed with garden soil and some pretty rough stuff. I seeded clover all up in there and all around here. Volunteer potatoes, yes, and hops. It came back. I kind of pushed it over the bank and it came back along with some gold quail. 2 beds here. They were just popping up with tons of volunteers, so I just decided to make them potato beds and plant a whole bunch of more from, you know, my saved seed. I've got a carrot bed here just germinating, just a few days now for the autumn. Some nice flowers along there. Look at those volunteer potatoes. So one little tip for growing potatoes, the soil a little more on the acidic side. And so if you do add peat moss, I know it's not all that sustainable, but a little bit lower pH in your soil will grow, you know, good potatoes that will be more scab free. So when you're seeding out crops, direct seeding in the heat, you know, for autumn, you definitely want to use a tarp. You want to check it after about 5 days in the heat. Things will germinate a little quicker, but always use a white tarp or the white side up, or, you know, light colored. Otherwise, you'll definitely cook your whole bed. Let's check that out. No signs yet. I actually like to always use a tarp for germinating carrots, even in the early spring. It just works like a charm. I'm also enjoying creating these furrows for especially carrot seed, because it tends to dry out a lot slower on the bottom of the furrow, as well as I've got this little bit of height here now, and I can put a screen mesh shade cloth right on the ground surface, and they still have a bit of space to, you know, get going. And then when I take that off, they're big enough not to, you know, get killed off by the extreme sun. I'll show you a couple other beds that I have the screen on. The volunteer potatoes are always the best. They are already flowering. Don't let it fool you. This is pineapple weed. It looks just like chamomile. A beautiful bed of Kelsey onion. These are my larger variety sweet onions. Check out some of my other videos on how I like to plant my onions with the dibbler or dibber and the fertilizer in the bottom and the tree plug flat plugs. Really awesome. More volunteer potatoes and squash that was in some contaminated manure again. Knocked all the soil off, planted them out. They took a little bit to come around, but they want them to climb up on this fence here. Cauliflowers are planted out too late. Just little bite-sized collies. I will attempt to plant something else in this area here. Garlic is looking awesome this year. Scapes just came off and managed to eat them all and stir fries pretty much. I like to sprinkle a little bone meal in the autumn after I plant. And then some cottonwood leaves or any kind of leaves on top. And the weed pressure has been way less, and you know, they're staying moist and they're looking really great. So I definitely do that again for the garlic. Hyssop. This is a Skeena red cherry. Some onions. Whoa, That guy's almost ready. I think I'm gonna pull just a couple of small ones. Just might as well start eating a few. Oh, look at this bed here is kind of a wild bed. The chamomile keeps coming back every year, just self seeds. I got clover, potatoes, lemon balm. That's getting around too much. Didn't know it spread so much. Now it's just everywhere. Even comfrey. Dotted some kales in here. Oh, what's that? A cabbage? Did I plant that or did that come back? I did have cabbage here last year. That might be the case. Yeah, and the sage here. Got my big blueberry bushes along there with some fava beans. I'll show you in a minute. Garlic here, and then a row of butterbush, winter squash. They only trail just a couple of feet. Some volunteer chamomile as well, and potatoes still coming up from last year. Dill, strawberries in here. Hose on a trickle here, and it's just enough slope that it runs this way and then seeps into the bed, and just kind of, you know, keeps the bottom where it's nice and moist, and it keeps going down. It's kind of like a nice little berm here, or a swale, when I put the hose on it, and just flows down that way and down and hits another crescent bed. It's pretty sweet. I'm really enjoying this part of the garden right here. I installed these logs to raise this bed up a little bit more so I could use some of the pathway, breaking down wood chips, mine them out and put them up here, install them up here with my blueberries to create a little more depth and cover them a little bit more. Also creating a mycelium bank of wine cap mushroom that I inoculated here, put the spawn out under my blueberries. Blueberries are looking pretty nice this year. Excited about them. Quite a few berries on them. I think the birds know about them. Zinnias down here. Come check out this mycelium. Hey, yeah, likes the straw. Napa cabbages are pretty much just went to holy slug land and bolted with the heat. Strawberries are coming through. Birds are getting them though. Ooh. Volunteer potatoes. Ooh, it's my magic potato log here. In time, did a bunch of beets. Look at that. Oh, you had the fava beans in between my blueberries. Look at that, supported by the blueberries. Sweet. 2 or 3 in between. Oh, some blueberries are starting to ripen up. Look at that. Fava beans, lettuce, strawberries. Wow. Blueberries, zinnias, wine cap mycelium. Come on, zinnias, you can do it. They need to come up a little higher and get a little bit more light. Look at that, fava beans growing with blueberries. Okay, so this bed here, this is a nice bed. Nice for sounds they'll pull to and start enjoying them early. First week of July. All right. That's why I like to do the transplants. It's just like a quick, I put them in and, you know, like a month later I've got a crop that can start coming out gradually. There's Winter Keeper and Cylindra. Uh-oh, look at this, going to seed, it's bolting. Don't want to collect seed from bolting plants. You might think, oh, seed, but no. My new sprinklers here, I'm not happy with this head. I went for the $5 head versus the $18 all metal head. Anyways, paid good money for the bottoms. These are really nice. Celery. And just today I noticed it wilting a little bit. I thought it was wet enough, but you don't want to let celery dry out. Nonetheless, it's still looking pretty good. Looking pretty lush. It certainly is green. Oh, check these out, check these out. Oh, hollyhocks are blooming. I just noticed this now. Oh, sweet. Little castles of hollyhocks that have put a string around them, see? Oh, I get so excited. But look at these. Wait. Early cabbage. Look at that. Look at that. A row of early cabbage, and it's hardening up. Just a couple of days more. Beat all the slugs, even though they're starting to find them now. Beauty of having a bank on your property, hillside. Bye. Look at this beautiful row of cabbage. These are earlyana. Oh, wow, they're almost ready. That means I can plant another crop here. Look at these beauties. I got them in early enough. Right here on the other side of the pathway, which I have filled with nice straw, no spray straw. Volunteer perennial arugula, or rocket is called. I have 2 varieties of this and it's super good. You want to get all the scapes off so they bulb up a little larger. They're also very tasty. Same technique with a little bone meal in the fall and the cottonwood leaves. Exciting. Behind me, sea buckthorn hedge. Big crop. So I pruned these early spring to plant my broccoli here, which I've harvested the main head. You know, like 6-inch heads, not too outrageous, but something. They finished fast, and now they're coming back around for a few shoots. I actually picked a few shoots as well. They're a little bit hidden away in here. Look at that. Wow. Very difficult to pick though. Potatoes. This is the 3rd year these guys are here. Quite a few. I'll get some little new potatoes, or mini potatoes there. We're under the other cherry tree here. The Rainier blush cherry. They're coming. Broccolis I've harvested from under the cherry here. These are volley potatoes again. Oh, hello grapey. Oh, the grapes. I think last year it was like covering my honeyberries at this time of year. And yeah, the birds got all my honeyberries again this year. I don't get them unless I net them. And then usually a couple birds die as well, which is not so great. So yeah, in front of my piece here, I had planned on doing melons here, but pretty much all my melons, almost all of them, just died right off. They are the most sensitive to herbicide manure. It really took a toll on me this year. And I've noticed it a bit in the past too with some horse manure, and I kind of ignored it because things kind of pulled through and it potentially wasn't as bad as this year. That in combination with the geoengineering and you know, the rain's full of crap, metals and who knows, fungus, who knows what else, you know, is going in there. It's getting harder and harder to grow anything in general, I've noticed. I've seen some other gardens too, and things are not looking too great. Some things are okay. I'm kind of protected here with a lot of trees. You know, a little bit more shade on my property, but it does actually really protect from the geological engineering to some degree. We're gonna get scorched here, so not sure how long these peas will last. They're gonna do their one flush and then they might die back. Peas don't like extreme hot. They'll, you know, shut down. Another thing with peas is you want to keep them picked so then they keep producing, like they want to self-propagate. A number of plants really do well when you keep them picked, like cucumbers. They'll just keep producing. But if you leave, you know, fruits or peas on the vine too long, the plants tend to think, okay, I've done my duty. I actually had bad manure and with these guys too, and just depends on the strain or the variety to some degree. Some things do okay and others really do not. Either way, they're still definitely stunted. These are gonna pull through. I was knocking a lot of the soil off, a lot of my plants. The roots were just, you know, like brown. Aminopyralid herbicides This is one sign right there, curling. These ones are pretty much grown in and they look white, so I think they're gonna be okay. I don't really wanna rip all the soil off some of them. I've made little nest holes here, not too deep. A little bit of fertilizer in there and mixed it around a bit. And see, they're kind of high, which I want because the soil is pretty dense here. Cottonwood leaves here, and then wood chip mulch on top of that. So the soil is really happy and healthy here this year. You know, if you have a ring around the outside of that for water catchment, leave them high. It's kind of like the traditional way of planting squash. So I'm really thinking about protection these days and trying to plant some things that can handle the heat, you know, like garlic, just in the front, just to give that little bit of shade for other crops to get them going. Volunteer sunflowers, borage, carrots, planted some feverfew here. Hey, there's a volunteer chard there. Oh, it's cilantro. Parsley seeded in the front of the garlic there, snuck along, so when I pull the garlic out, hopefully the perennial parsley is going to come in, so I want to keep that wet as well. All the cilantro in there and the borage and the newly planted squash that are going to gradually take this whole area over, just as the it's getting too hot for the peas. I think the timing's right, although we'll see how many squash I actually get. If I had a quicker, earlier finishing variety of squash would be better. Keep water on them and they will keep coming for a bit. But lettuce works really well to grow behind. For the life of me, I just can't grow radishes. I mean, the weather conditions are just so unstable now. Oh, look, calendula. Yay. But still a lot of good lettuce back here. And the perennial arugula. The lovage takes off every year and just makes these big seed heads, 9 or 10 feet tall. There's the other grapevine on the pussy willow above. The red currant I just harvested. Wow, look at these. Left just a few on there for the birds. Kept going through my mind. Leave a few for the birds. Volunteer. Oh, what do we have here? We have apples. This is the Fuji apple tree. A nice little guild of the loosestrife and potatoes, because I was dumping compost there. Be a nice little compost potato crop out of there. Got another compost going here that I'm just piling up and raking some of the wood chips over top and feeding my beautiful Fuji apple tree. And we have some crazy yellow looking blueberries. Holy smokes, but look at the crop on them. So I'm going to do a sulfur drench. I have some sulfur. I also bought some Epsom salts, and I was reading about that, and some people think it does lower pH, but technically I was reading it doesn't. But it can be good for greening up, and I think a little Epsom salt along with the sulfur. Do need to look up if they're gonna bind if I put them together, but I want to add them together. I just had this feeling that might help them out. Well, the sulfur should, but the Epsom salts, the calcium, magnesium, potentially will help them out. Wow, look at that carrot. So beautiful. The rose campion. And this new lily is gonna bloom here. What are you, little guy? What are you gonna, let me smell. Feverfew, yeah. Of this daisy, but it's red. These are coming through, volunteers. Cosmos I planted in here. I put mine cap mycelium down here. Oh, yeah, there's some. Trying to keep it moist. Here's the compound. Hey, buddy. How you doing? You're out from your sink. Loving this one. It's been blooming for about a month now. This is Guam. I started it from seed, Guam Red Dragon. And yeah, this is its second year. I planted a bunch of them all around. They're really beautiful, and they're kind of the same size as the rose campion. They make a great kind of pairing, actually. It's kind of dying back a little bit now. It makes these kind of seed heads here, but it's kind of cool because it's like orange and then the fuchsia, orangey red. It's quite beautiful together. And the yellow blueberries, kind of extreme here. Wow. Yeah, I could just go on and on and on. I've got a whole bunch of random little plants in here. When you get up close, it's real fun. Oh, these are straw flowers. Yeah, amaranth, little guys, volunteer carrots, borage. Oh, some big jumbo garlic, some special garlic that I had. There's the rocket, perennial rocket, aster, patch of clover for tea. It is getting a little bit of mildew. Ow, fly just bit my face. The mallow is coming back every year. Nice little squash bed here with some green amaranth. This is delicata, bush delicata, asters, sage, and some pickling cukes. I started very late because all my picklers died off from bad manure. There's the culprit right there. Funny enough, there is weeds growing in it. Another wicking barrel that I planted out late. These melons are hurting. It's like what I have left of the melons. I got a couple more in the greenhouse. They're doing sort of okay, but I had so many and they were gonna get so big and plant them out, and it's gonna be a big melon year. But like I said earlier, nope. I'll be lucky to get some kind of melon off of these, maybe a little taste again. Oh well, maybe they'll come around. Little peppers. My peppers just like were super stunted too by that manure, and they're finally getting going now. All right, we got just a funny little squash thing just packed in here because I had a bunch of extras, and I just threw up this fence here and I kind of just see what they do. Maybe I'll put some sticks in between as they grow and let them grow out. I know there's a lot in there, but they're looking good. And oh, look at that. See? Look at this aster planted in here. It's all whack. You know, some of this could definitely be from the geoengineering as well, though. There's a lot of weird shit going on. I've got trees dying and stuff, and yeah, a lot of weird stuff. And the rain, right? There's a lot of crap in the rain. About time, you say. Like, where's that dude? He's just showing, like, just holding the camera in front with, like, how boring is this? Nobody in it? You gotta be in the video. Well, just unwind it, just like you wound up yourself the other way, you little sucker. Yeah, these poppies were blooming quite magnificently. I'll probably cut in a clip of this little area a little earlier on. And I have my beautiful gold medal tomatoes in here. Again, a little bit behind. Some years, you know, these tomatoes would be twice the size. Kind of comes around in cycles, you know, you don't grow something for a while and they're like, yeah, it's about time to grow that again. So the gold medal, they get up to like 1 pound or more. Cucumbers in here too. Rescued cucumbers, again, from crop manure. Yeah. Oh, the delphiniums. Oh, there was a hummingbird on it just earlier. So magnificent.
Merks, isn't it? Illegal.
Like it and subscribe it. Sneak around here and show you this stuff quickly. Look at the hollyhocks are about to be blooming. And down here we've got some tomatoes along here. Look at the melon. All kinds of little random stuff in here. Some beets and some tomatillos. Look, we got seed. We got Iberian kale seed. This just keeps going on its own. They make little babies too. Where are they? Little babies right here. They self seed and they come back and just make more seed. So I haven't planted the Siberian kale in a couple years. Some peas on here, just developing. Look at that. Look at all the seed there. So we eat some random little things and we peter out into just a blank bed. Some nice little lettuces. Growing some slugs as well. Been collecting those. Parsley. And see, we got here a carrot bed. Have a screen on here for shade cloth just till they get going so they don't fry in the sun. Got my little furrow there so I can just lay this on top, get them going. They get a little bit of space. A little deeper furrow is good actually. Check these volunteer potatoes out. They just keep doing this every year. I don't plant them, they keep coming back. They're going in the pathway, the wood chip pathway Oh, excuse me, I got pea burps. That doesn't sound good. Sweet pea, crunchy peas, you know, like peas. Beauties, they're flowering. I think this is a purple variety. Here's another carrot bed right here. And these guys are doing pretty good. I do wish I had planted a few more beds. Well, not a few more, I don't really have space for a few more, but more earlier is what I'm trying to get at here. And look at this over here. Trying a new crop here. They didn't come up all that well, but there's some. This is salsify. This is the giant sandwich island, or island sandwich, something bizarre like that it's called. It's supposed to taste kind of fishy, but like a potato. It's not a nightshade, and so I'm interested in other crops that are, you know, root crops that aren't nightshades that I can grow in my climate here. And so these take a while. They do grow native in this area, and I've seen them. So I think they take up a lot of space, and about 110 days, or I think this variety may be a little less than about 100 days, but anyways, you can harvest them in the spring. I hear. I think they take a lot of space for what you get, but might be a novelty, might be real tasty. I don't know yet. I haven't tried them. And we got some beets and some beautiful, this is a new variety of fava bean, and I planted these early, and look at that. They're actually don't need a support right now. I am going to tie them up just in case, but yeah, we even had some wind and they haven't blown down, so they're working out really well, this variety. Look at those. It's about 2 weeks and we'll be pulling a harvest off of those guys. And cabbage is coming back. I think these are early Anna or April green. I'm going to collect some seed from these, see if I can get these to seed. We had such a mild summer, mild winter, I mean, that my cabbages came back, some of them. And so that's perfect because cabbages are biennials. This is more like a food forest. Got 2 guilds, 2 trees, a Honeycrisp and a Fuji. There's just like maybe 10 Honeycrisp apples on her and probably maybe 50-ish Fujis, which is all right. Looking good, looking good. They didn't produce last year. And some flowers under here and whatnot. The guild is looking a little bit dry. I let the wild daisies go this year. Yeah, poppies certainly are getting around this year as well. Goji berries are taking off as usual. They're looking super vigorous. I'm growing a burdock in here apparently. I know they're good roots to eat and make medicine with. So that's kind of cool, you know. They work good as a hedge too if you like getting your neighbors angry if they've got dogs. And so this bed here is super overgrown, and that's kind of the theme of the year, I think. Wait till I see my food forest, my initial food forest next video, year of the overgrown. Everything is just kind of grown in, but this bed's got lots of grass in it as well, which is kind of frustrating. I'm gonna have to revamp it, pretty much just take out what I want and then cardboard it right over and put a ton of wood chips on. But there's echinacea and roses and lavender and sweet williams and all kinds of stuff in here, and yarrow, and ooh, look at that. I forget what these are called, but they don't bloom till really late. This big vine here is just taking over ever since I had to pull it down from the power pole there. Didn't know what to do with it really, and so I just aimed it in this direction, and it just grew right along the fence line here. It's just like taking over this whole area. My honeyberries, it's swallowed up. And so in here, box gardens there that I've just been kind of like covering. Put a lot of wood chip in here, and now I'm just putting sticks and all compost and all kinds of stuff, just trying to pile it up along the edge here. Just make a big Hugel kind of berm. Well, see how big it gets, but you catch my drift. And potatoes, I was digging potatoes the other night here. There's volunteers. I get little baby potatoes out of here really early, and it's super awesome. They grow well with strawberries. Can take over a little bit, but just depends. I've got this is a vigorous, big strawberry variety. Like the foliage is quite big and deep, and so they kind of balance out. Because it's kind of like scraggly potatoes, but they make these beautiful little new potatoes. Really awesome. This variety is Rose. And I picked a big bowl out of here just, what was it, yesterday? And my mom's made, well, she already did make strawberry jam. Just strawberries.